the things that I always teach is that a really strong, successful next step agreement has three key components. Number one, you have to take the pressure off the prospect by letting them know that you're okay with no. And for me, that happens as part of setting the table early and up front. Where I let them know, I said, we're not always the perfect fit for every client. And not every client or every job is the perfect fit for us. So, at the end of our conversation today, if I'm feeling that way, if you're feeling that way, all I ask is for a little bit of honesty. So if you take that pressure off initially, you're going to have better conversations. That's the first part. The second part is that it has to be about the customer. So, one of the mistakes I made early on, and I still hear sales reps do this, is, we talk about getting a last look. To me, a last look is a selfish move. It's about the salesperson. So when I tee up my next step agreements, I want to make it about the customer. Mrs. Jones, as you start to review the estimates, you're probably going to see scopes and overall prices all over the place. Mm-hmm. I'm very detailed, but based upon that and your review, you're likely to have some questions. So I'd like to set up a time just to walk through, address any questions that have come up, address any concerns that you may have. As you mentioned, Andrew, I'll broach the topic of, as you meet with and interview other contractors, the scope of the work could be different, and I can help you make some sense of that as well. And most importantly, I want to make sure that I've captured your expectations and I understand those well and up front. And that's all. So to me, that's how the professional approaches it, because I'm making that all about the customer's benefit. I'm not going out and saying, hey, if we're higher, give me a last opportunity, I'll work, right? And yeah. I hear that all the time. I'm sure you hear that all the time. But you've already devalued what you're driving, the value and the experience you bring to the customer. So that's the second piece. And the third key piece is making sure it's specific. So a good next step agreement isn't, Mrs. Jones, if I haven't heard from you in about a week, do you mind if I give you a call?
Not good enough.
That's not specific at all. We know where that leads to voicemails. So before I leave that client, we're setting up another calendar appointment, specific date, specific time to get back together. And when I say get back together, most of mine are done on the phone.